they moved around the roster, and then they just fired the coach. So they kind of like cleaned house without even trying to troubleshoot the problem.
You see,
That's kind of what didn't make sense to me.
Like you're right. Like if you're trying a new thing, let's see how Bruce does like with the brand new system, with the brand new roster or whatever. But I'm just so confused because like Bill Guerin said that this firing was meant to inject the Wild with urgency. But didn't the Jason Zucker trade, like, a week before that fucking do that to the team? And I'm pretty sure after the trade, Guerin said, oh, yeah, and if anyone else starts slacking off, there will be more moves. Like, that's a threat. Like, how does that not instill a team with urgency? How does firing a coach a week after you said that when the team is 3 points out of a fucking playoff spot, how does that inject the Wild with urgency? If anything, it's going to add some disdain to the franchise, I think. My point of view on this is that Guerin, he just inherited Boudreau from the past GMs, right? He didn't get to actually pick his own coach, and he saw that, in my opinion, he saw that, wow, like the time is running out if I want to just choose my own guy, and he's seen that Bruce Boudreau has been able to pretty much overachieve with a team that was already expected not to make the playoffs. Like, the Wild were not expected to do shit this year, and he has them 3 points out of a playoff spot. So, in my opinion, Guerin was like, you know what, I'm stuck with Bruce. He's a good guy and everything, but I'm going to get rid of him because I want to do things my way with a coach who sees my point of view better and who wants to rebuild the roster like me, because I know Bruce was against that. But if that's the case, which I know it to be, why not just be honest with it? Why lie and say, this trade was just to inject the Wild with urgency? No, it's because you're selfish and you want your own guy, and if you were honest about your fucking reasoning, then I think a lot more fans would have respected the decision and be like, okay, Guerin just wants a brand new guy who's going to go along with what Guerin thinks should be happening with the organization, right?
Yeah, I mean, and traditionally across sports, you know, teams, GMs, whoever, owners, whoever makes the move, or, you know, calls upon the GM from the top. Usually what happens is they either get rid of players and bring in new players, or they clean house with coaching and get a new coaching. But you don't see them do it as closely together as they did here. You know, with the big Zucker trade was huge. And then, you know, they can Boudreau like a week later. It just seems like, you know, kind of like going back to what I said earlier, they just didn't even really give him a shot to try out the new players. And it, you know, I'm just kind of having a bit of a sentimental sporting moment here because I like to think about the team that Bruce Boudreau rescued back when he came, you know, aboard however many years ago that was. I mean, remember the team that Mike Yeo had? Like, they'd be on a power play and they'd never even shoot the puck.
Yeah.
And that was like the first thing I remember about Bruce Boudreau is he steps in and he goes, all right, so from now on, we're going to start shooting the puck on the power play because we have more players out there than them. I know that's a booger analysis, but it was literally what happened.
I remember with the Mike Yeo, that's such a good thing to bring up. With the Mike Yeo situation, we were so far into his last season, like literally right up to the trade deadline, and we were still trying to bring in specialized coaches to work on a power play. That should be sorted out before the season even fucking begins.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just so super simple when you break it down like that. It's like, you know, it's sad to see him go before his work was over. I mean, you know, if they would have fired him at the end of the year, it would have made a little more sense. But firing him mid-season when you're already swapping out the roster, I mean, the T-Wolves did the same thing, right? Like, I think only 2 players on the team that were there like a month ago are still there, but they didn't can Saunders too because, you know, they want to see, okay, let's bring in new players, and if there's still a problem, it might be an administration thing. But like the Wild just fired everybody.
Well,
or not everybody, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like,
and again, I just think Guerin saw that Bruce Boudreau was actually having a chance to make the playoffs, and I really don't think that Guerin wants to make the playoffs. I think that he does not see any future with this roster in terms of a Stanley Cup ring. And because of that,
so he's going more for the tank.
He doesn't want to make the playoffs. He doesn't. Like, doing a move like this proves that he doesn't want to make the playoffs no matter what he says.
Yeah, I mean, it is really just mind-boggling, and I just hope my final thought on the matter is I hope he knows what the fuck he's doing.
I mean, same here, because he was...
this team has been around too long to not have a cup.
Exactly, yeah, 20 years now, and, you know, like, I'm 23 now, and I've gone, you know, pretty much my whole 23 years on this earth never seen us really make it past like a second round in anything, right? Like I get to see the Vikings.
Yeah, not even close. Maybe the Vikings in the NFC
exactly. That's
Championship.
it.
Like
seeing them lose
twice,
in the NFC Championship is the closest I've ever gotten to see like any Minnesota team have success. So, like, it's just.
I mean, St. Louis won a championship last year, and they lost their goddamn football team.
Exactly.
You know?
Like
Vegas, they were an expansion team. They made it to the Stanley Cup their first year. Like, why can't Minnesota even get past the second round?
Minnesota's becoming the new Cleveland. It really is.
Just cursed as hell.